Hey guys, this is Aegis, and this is the ace match between George Washington University and West Point. I finally got it right on the first try. And over here we do have MC and Dory for George Washington University. He did play in the 2v2. Did he play in the 2v2 as Terran and I missed it, or he played in 2v2 as uh, Zerg or something? You know what? Never mind. Over here we have Jaywalk, gonna be over here for West Point, and this is MLG Metalopolis in cross position. So this is actually great for Jaywalk. We'll see how he does in this game, and both players are gonna be opening up here, and a wall off from Andori is imminent. And I don't. Well, in the past games for this matchup, I have been speeding up a little bit. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys are okay with, or that you would not like to see me doing in any of these games. Let me know in the comments. I'm just doing it because I have so many games here to cast as the CSL has begun. So there are a lot of games in Division East. Go ahead and check those out. I'm going to be recasting UMBC versus George Mason University, as the recording for that was absolutely horrible, because I do want to cast games for my former team. I have graduated, so I'm not playing anymore, which is unfortunate. I'm going to have to find some other league to play in, I guess. Over here, MC and Dory going to be grabbing his gas. Very standard timing. We also have a gas pool opening from Jaywalk. I guess he's trying to be as safe as possible, possibly also because Andori has the ability to block this expansion. And over here, a drone is scouting around. It's also trying to block that. That sucks. It's trying to block the cyber core from going down. There's a zealot being chrono boosted out, and Dory trying to handle the best way he can. And there's the cyber core going down. Two Zerglings on the way for Jaywalk. He will be able to clean up this probe and take his natural expansion in just a second. He's got the metabolic boost on the way, as well as the queen coming up. There's an overlord going to be positioning itself over here to be able to scout around the 6-minute mark to see exactly what MC Andori is trying to do. He's actually making plenty of zealots here. This is an interesting build. I think I saw Liquid Tyler do this, but he actually did it with 3 zealots or something. I don't know if it was Liquid Tyler. I saw someone do this before. Chrono boost out a bunch of zealots and go for an attack. And it actually does quite well. He's going to be walling off over here with a pylon and going to be grabbing a forge as well. And out come a couple of Zerglings. They will get sliced away by those zealots. Already getting 1 kill on one zealot and 2 kills on the other. There's also a probe on the field, and a stalker is on the way as well. There's actually 1 completed. So this is actually a pretty strong rush here from our Protoss player. I really like this. It is forcing our Zerg player to make additional Zerglings, and this actually gives Andori a chance to be able to expand afterwards. He does have the Forge coming up. He's in no way unprepared for the late game. He's also got the ability to make his Warp Gate sometime soon, I hope. He's actually walling this place off. A couple of Zerglings are out, trying to get those Protoss units into a bad position, but it looks like the Zealots are just too good against Zerglings, and it looks like Andori trying to do this. He's got those 2 Zealots over here. It looks like they are not in the prime position, and the 2 pylons do finish, and Andori is in a bad position and losing a ton of minerals up at the front. More Stalkers popping out from Andori, trying to get back into this game now that his rush wasn't able to do that much. Well, actually, he forced out a ton of Zerglings, which is detrimental to Jaywalk's economy. He's got these 2 Stalkers over here up at the front. He's going to be throwing up a cannon to help defend against these Zerglings. Looks like the Zerglings will be able to run in here, get a pretty good surround here on one of those Stalkers, but it looks like the cannon will be coming up. A chrono boost going down on a sentry to be able to wall this place off. The Zerglings continuing to try to nibble away at that Stalker. It does get 3 kills before getting taken out. And it looks like this wall is in danger, but the sentry will be able to force sealed properly as soon as it does pop out. And still no warp gate tech, which is interesting to me. And there is a cannon going to be finishing up. Sin has left the game in rage. There's a Stargate finishing up. I always say in rage just for fun. I don't know if it was actually a drop or not. And Dory does have a no warp gate tech yet, and it is the 7-minute mark, so this is already really strange. And his Zerg opponent is going for a double Evo chamber, so this is really bad for our our Protoss player. He's got a Void Ray on the way. We'll see if he's able to do the damage with this Void Ray. However, with those Evo chambers out, it's going to be hard to do too much damage unless Jaywalk completely fails on his response. And he does have the Overlord scooting in here, so he will be able to respond by throwing down those Spore Crawlers. And it looks like the Overlord over here is definitely in trouble. There, the Spore Crawlers now going down. He's got the contain on MC and Dory, so Jaywalk is looking in such a good position. All he has to do is not make a third base. So on 2 bases, our Zerg player will be able to macro hard enough to defend against anything our Protoss player tries to throw against him. We've got a photon cannon and the pylon working, and the sentry working on that pylon. Looks like he will be trying to expand here in just a second. The Zerglings will prevent that for a little while. Looks like the single Void Ray as well as the Phoenix going to be making their way over here. Possibly pick up this Queen over here and deny this Queen from being able to continue to spread that creep. Looks like they will be headed in here, and there are Spore Crawlers at the ready. And the pickup on the Queen, looks like the Queen will not be going down as the Void Ray is not going to be able to charge up quickly enough. And Andori is actually going to lose this Void Ray. He's got all of the Queens working on it, and the Void Ray goes down, and this is so bad for Andori. It's so hard to imagine how he's going to be able to win this game. For George Washington University, he's going to be... I don't know what he's going to be doing next. The Zerglings are going to continue to come over here and do some damage, but it looks like the cannon does ward them away. The 2 sentries moving forward as well, and warping in additional Zella over here to try to hold this off. And Andori actually going up to 900 food. Probe is going to be coming out here and trying to make this expansion right now. Going to also be throwing up a little bit of a wall here, trying to get back into this. Jaywalk is now at 49 food, and nothing is stopping him from taking this 3rd base now, especially once that Stargate tech has been held off. Going to be making some Void Rays for defense, and Dory is in such a tough spot since he can't really scout to see if Jaywalk is about to go crazy Zergling Roach on him, but it looks like we do have the Infestation Pit finishing up for Jaywalk. And that's a bad news for all of these sentries, as well as for the Void Rays. As soon as the Neuroparasite upgrade goes down, this was played pre-patch, so Infestors were still awesome, which they still are awesome in my opinion, but they just need to be utilized better. There's the Void Ray now headed up to the front. Zerg player now racking up 1,200 minerals, and Dory doing a good job of spending all of his money as he doesn't really have too much. He's going to be transferring some drones, some probes to his natural expansion shortly. There's an Overseer over here to prevent any sort of DT rushing as well. So Jaywalk has gotten a pretty strong hold on this game as of this point. He's free to drone up as hard as he wants. He's free to make as whatever tech that he needs. So he's got everything in his favor, and Andori is just sitting back trying to macro up to be able to face his Zerg opponent. He's got the Void Ray going to be moving out across the map to see exactly how much damage he can do. 5 Infestors popping out at a time for Jaywalk, so lots of Infestors, always good. Andori going to be cleaning up one Zergling over there with that Void Ray. Going to be 25 minerals closer to breaking even with that Void Ray. A little bit of a wall over here from Andori. There's the Zerglings checking for a 3rd base over here. We got Blink on the way for Andori. Going to be getting some additional Stalkers out. Jaywalk now saturating his 3rd base, getting a Spore Crawler, 2 Spore Crawlers over here just in case. Infestors running over here trying to hold down that Void Ray. Looks like not quite ready to do that. Looks like it will be coming in here trying to do some damage, but it will be forced out of here. by the Queen, as well as the well-placed Spore Crawler. Looks like Andori may be looking to do some pushing here. He's got the Templar Archives on the way. Blink is finishing up. He's got plenty of sentries in this army. But those Infestors are really strong against such an army composition. And I believe there are like 6 of them out on the field right now. Looks like the Zerglings will be able to run in here. A nice force field by Andori. Looks like the Zerglings will still manage to squeeze in here. And actually force fielding off over here. Going to force those Zerglings to engage in this position. Looks like another force field going down. We'll be able to pick a couple of those guys off. The Void Ray continuing to scoot about over here. Trying to do as much damage as possible. 3 Infestors over here. Where are the other Infestors? There are 9 Infestors out in the field and I can't find them. There they are. Looks like the fungal growth going down, and a couple of infested Terrans will be popping down as well to clean up this one Void Ray. MC Andori actually not paying attention to that, and down it goes. Jaywalk, I'm surprised he's actually not max as of this point, because he's been free to do everything that he would like for about the past 8 minutes. So Andori here is actually looking okay. He's headed for the late game. He's got those Templar warping in to be able to feed back and storm the Zergling Infestor composition. And Jaywalk isn't perfectly max. He's got an interesting, he's got a pretty good army composition, especially with all of those Zerglings. But with those High Templar out in the field, with the ability to possibly make those Archons as well as to storm all of those Zerglings, Jaywalk is going to be in a tough spot if he doesn't make something else, I guess. Neuroparasite on the way for Jaywalk, as well as Carapace level 2. Andori is actually only at 1-0, and Jaywalk is already at 2-1, so this is a really strong advantage for Jaywalk into the late game. He's also got the hatchery coming up. Andori now taking his 3rd base slowly but surely, headed towards max. +2 ground weapons on the way for Andori. A couple of cannons coming up as well. A lot of laggers here. So it looks like the connection between West Point and the server, or between George Washington University and the server, is not that good. It looks like an Infestor task force is over here, going to be throwing down a ton of those infested Terrans, and they will be able to force a cancel on this expansion. And looks like Andori will be denied that expansion for a short amount of time. He's got more Templar warping in. He's also got the Infestors behind his base over here. Looks like the probe will be headed over here to throw down that base once again. Looks like there is an infested Terran trying to get over here. Looks like he will be able to take down a couple of these units. All of the infested Terrans going to be popping. And the gold base finished for Jaywalk. Macro hatch is done as well. Wouldn't mind seeing yet another one. Additional pylons coming down over here for MC Andori. He's going to be throwing down a pylon over here and trying to get his 3rd base up. Additional zealots being warped in by Andori. And it's now a 5 base Zerg against a 2 base Protoss. About to be 1 base Protoss because there's nothing left in the main. Jaywalk comfortably mining from these 4 bases. Wouldn't mind him just taking this base and this base all at the same time, as MC Andori can actually do nothing about it. Look at the production tab here for our Zerg player. He's got everything. He's got the Greater Spire on the way, more drones popping out, ground carapace level 3, melee attacks level 3, Roach Warren, more Spore Crawlers, and our Protoss player is just trying to get his expansion up. Looks like a bunch of infested Terrans will be going down over here, and they will be popping out, trying to do some damage. Looks like a bunch of probes will get taken out. Free energy to be used against this expansion. Taking a couple of probes is great for Jaywalk. I'm a little surprised. I'm still surprised that the food count is even. That's just shocking to me. I can't believe that the food count is even as of this point. Maybe there's something that Jaywalk needs to work on possibly taking the bases quicker, recognizing the situation that he's in and finally taking this base and this base over here. Maybe it's just because I'm watching it from an observer's point of view, but I feel like those bases could have been taken a lot faster. And here comes the push from Andori. He's got an observer out in the field as well. The Infestor Task Force is still hanging out in the back, so this can actually do some damage. The Zergling's going to be rushing in here. Storm going down. Going to easily clean up a ton of those Zerglings. The Blink not even being used in that engagement. Jaywalk now going up to 181 food, making 20 roaches at a time, but it looks like this push will be able to take out this expansion over here at least. The Zealots making their way in here. Templars also at the ready to throw down those feedbacks on the Zerg units if needed. The drones actually scooting over to the front. Baneling's nest popping up. It looks like that will be going down as well. And Andori here doing plenty of damage. But here comes the main Zerg force. He's got Corruptors in the mix. I'm not sure what that's for, but it looks like the fungal growth going down. We're going to need to see some hero feedbacks here. Will we see those feedbacks? Looks like force fields going down and feedback going down and storms coming down as well. Looks like all of these Zerg units are getting stormed on, but it looks like Andori's army is just not strong enough. Broodlords out in the field as well. Andori now falling to 79 food. It's looking really strong for Jaywalk. All of these Zealots here will get taken out as well. 19 more roaches in the production queue for Jaywalk, and along with those Broodlords, he will be able to make a really strong push against Andori, and there's not much Andori can actually do about it. Stalker's going to be blinking forward, going to be trying to do some damage over here. Looks like they will be able to scout into the center, and they do see the Broodlord composition now. So this is a really scary position to be in as Andori. He's going to be trying to hang on as long as possible. However, he does have that Stargate from the beginning of the game, so he can make some Void Rays, which he needs to do right away. I'm not sure why we're not seeing that right now, especially because he does have 900 money in the bank. We got a couple of stray roaches going to be running over here. Fourth base being started by Andori. Desperately trying to get back into this game against his Zerg opponent. Looks like he will be backing up. And our Zerg player, he's not pushing, which is a huge mistake right now. He took out a huge army. He knows his opponent doesn't really have too much in his favor. He could push and do a ton of damage, and this is going to be the mistake of his game if he does lose this game. Especially because he will be mining out his bases sooner than Protoss will be mining out his bases. Looks like the Blink Stalkers will be headed over here to try to clean up a couple of these Croup Tumors, but there are no observers. Looks like the observer has finally arrived, going to be able to clean up all of these Croup Tumors to prevent the creep thread from getting too crazy in front of his base. These Infestors over here do have full energy. They can easily plop down enough Infested Terrans to take out this Nexus. And the drop over here from Jaywalk will be dropping into the main right now. Looks like the forces from Andori will be forced back to try to defend against this. And the Roaches will be able to clean up a couple of these production facilities, take down a couple of pylons as well. And that pylon will be going down, depowering a couple of these buildings. It looks like this pylon will also go down. And taking down one of the production facilities as well. A couple of Zealots and Stalkers will also be going down. And I like to see him actually focus fire some of these buildings. Looks like the Immortal's going to be ripping through those units. This is pre-patch, by the way, so those Immortals are not as good as they are now, but still tearing through those roaches very easily. Jaywalk continuing to be max at 182 food. Andori now 128. Zealot charge on the way for our Zerg play. What am I talking about? Protoss player. Couple of units being warped in from that War Prism, actually taking out the space. Nice job by Andori cleaning up this area. Looks like the Corruptors will be able to clean up that War Prism very easily. Jaywalk will be able to take this retake this expansion relatively quickly. He's mined out at his main and his natural expansion, so it's basically a two-base Zerg to a 3-base Protoss. So I'd say our Protoss is ahead in terms of economy right now. He just needs a little bit of time, and he will be able to secure a strong enough economy to be able to support the large Protoss, strong and large Protoss units such as the Colossus, as well as additional Void Rays for the late game. And Jaywalk is just in a he's making the wrong decisions here, and it looks like Andori is going to be walking straight in here, and our Zerg player not really noticing. Going to be finally engaging, throwing down those fungal growths, but it looks like the Protoss army is just ripping through this over here, and the fungal growths are just a little bit too late. The Broodlords are still alive, going to be throwing those Broodlings down, and looks like our Protoss player is still in a really bad position despite taking out all of those infestors, and here comes the push by Jaywalk. We'll see if he's able to bust in here. Dark Shrine is on the way, and it looks like the Roach is leading the charge, not getting the Broodlord support, so all of those Roaches will get taken out. The Immortal doing tons of work here, ripping through all of those units. The Infestors not in position either, and the Corruptors also getting a little bit ahead of themselves, going to get taken out. And there's not much here. If a Blink goes forward, a Blink needs to be used. Looks like the Infestors will be able to prevent the Blink from being used, as well as the Roaches rushing in here, taking out these units. And our Protoss player looks like he will be forced to GG shortly. He's got not much in terms of production to be able to deal with those Broodlords. The fungal growths going down on all of those Infestors, on all of those Stalkers, will force them back. Looks like all of the Protoss forces will be backing up shortly, and all of those Broodlords here, actually a ton of Infestors getting taken out. All of the Stalkers going to be retreating towards that third base. This base has also gone down. I actually missed that. I apologize for missing that going down, possibly because of those Infestors. Yes, it definitely was. And GG from Andori. Jaywalk takes it for West Point. Last season, West Point didn't do too well, but they're definitely in the running for the season. However, if you look at the standings in this division, you'll find that some other schools have a better chance of winning this division, but I do think West Point is on their way to becoming a better StarCraft 2 team, and this has been CSL Season 5, Week 1, George Washington University against West Point. This is Aegis. I'll see you guys next time.